But, we were going to talk and there was an accident that happened in front of me. And come to find out later, this lady had a stroke at like 80 miles an hour.
Oof.
Flying down the freeway. She bangs, left, right, head ends into a tree. Poof, car starts going. I'm behind her.
Mm-hmm.
So I pull off and I'm like, I got to pull her out. So I bust this window with I had a drill bit in the back of my car. I busted the window, pulled her out of that. And I was like just dumping on to the paramedics that showed up on scene. And I was like, man, I don't know what I want to do with my life, but I think I want to do this.
This is the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast, a podcast about Middle Tennessee business owners and professionals. Mostly.
You ever wonder, like, when is it going to get warmer?
Yeah.
It's got to get warmer around here. I'm really tired of the cold.
Listen, I got dressed this morning. I told my daughter, Abby, I said, pick me out a polo. I need to be festive today.
Yeah.
She picked this one out. And she's like, Dad, you're a whole vibe. I'm like, yeah, like I'm tired of the cold, man. I want to be on the boat in the ocean fishing.
Totally. Point that mic towards you real quick.
It toward
there
me.
We go. Much better.
Got it.
Do you like fishing?
I do like fishing.
You do like deep sea?
I want to try it. I haven't done it yet.
Really? Like lake fishing, river fishing, that's what you've done?
That I've always done.
Right.
But my dad lives down in Hudson, Florida, near Clearwater.
Right.
And so I think this next time we go down there, I think we're going to get us a little boat and do some fishing.
Oh, dude, it's so much fun. I mean, the last time I used to do that with my dad all the time. He used to trailer a boat all around. Like, mainly we'd take it to Lake Ontario. We took it to Ocean City, Maryland. We take it out on Long Island Sound because I grew up in the Northeast.
Yeah.
And talk about taking something for granted when you grew up.
Fishing.
Gushing. Oh, yeah. I'd love to do it. And again, it might be one of those things where if I get back out on a boat and we start to get a rod in the water and like half an hour goes by, you're like, okay, now I remember why I don't like this.
Yeah.
You
got to leave the phone. You got to leave the phone in the glove box. And
I don't mind doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of, okay. But when you do get a bite on a deep sea fishing boat, depending on the fish, you're probably in for a good hour or two.
Wow.
Reeling it in. Maybe even 3.
Holy cow.
Like you do a tuna or something like that. We used to do a lot of bluefish. Bluefish would take you about a half an hour, 45 minutes to get in the boat.
Are those good at eating?
I don't remember. And that's the other thing. I don't really eat fish. I don't mind catching them.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I know so many people. I got 2 podcast clients who are avid hunters.
Ooh.
And I always drop hints. I've never been hunting. They're like, oh yeah? Yeah. And like that, they must not like taking newbies hunting.
You're too loud.
I guess. I don't know. But anyway, you guys are listening. You're tuning into the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast from the Christian Brothers of Spring Hill Studios, powered by Muletown Bikes. Have you tried the e-biking thing yet?
I have not. I would love to.
Yeah. It's a lot
of fun. I'm dropping a hint.
Dropping a hint. I really enjoy doing it, even though recently I haven't been doing too much of it because riding a bike in 35-degree weather is not fun.
No, not
at all. So, I mean, at some point, I think Matt Rogers and I are going to do some sort of, because he challenged me on the efficiency and effectiveness of it being an actual workout. And Matt Rogers was on the podcast a couple episodes ago. He's the PA announcer for the Titans, as well as other different things. A great guy. We always have a great conversation. But he's like, how much of a workout can you really get? I'm like, dude, it's for a guy like me. I said, I do an hour on that thing. I'm sweating,
But it's an e-bike.
It is an e-bike, but okay. Everybody who listen to this podcast, here he goes again. It's a workout if you choose to make it. I'm not hitting the throttle all the time. It is pedal assist. Okay. Some of the hills around here are freaking brutal, man.
When I was in my early 20s, probably 19 to 22, dude, I was the yellow band Lance Armstrong guy.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Did you have the yellow bike too?
I didn't have the yellow bike. I couldn't afford it at the time, but
right.
What I could afford was a nice semi-carbon fiber bike from Trek.
Yeah.
But dude, I would work 6-8 hours and I would bike 80 miles a day. And
oh my gosh.
I was doing centuries. You know what a century is?
100 miles.
Yeah. I was doing that for fun on the weekends. And my parents thought I had an eating disorder because I was just losing so much weight.
Yeah.
And I was eating like a shark. But man, that was my out.
Yeah. You looked forward to it. Yeah. And that's the thing is I tell people at my age, I want to look forward to my workout.
Yeah. And you don't want it to hurt. Like I
don't
get
mind
the
I don't mind pain. I don't mind pain.
But it's easier on the joints.
Yeah,
you go longer.
Yeah, it's you know, pedaling a bike. It's like, you know, might as well be swimming and stuff like that. Low impact. So you guys are probably wondering who I'm talking to here. His name is Rob Steier. We met about several months ago. Thank you, Rebecca Jacobs with eSpaces. She connected us. Have you been to our BNI?
I have not.
What are you going to be my guest?
I'll be your guest. When is it?
Tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. Well, we're there every Wednesday, but you know, I'll make sure you know about it.
I'll take an invite.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you're one of these guys, we talked about ADD and stuff like that, and you kind of having like a mosaic type of approach to things. You seem to like, you know, either really be strategic or really lucky with some of the things that you've done. But starting out up in Wisconsin is where you grew up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wisconsin, eh?
It comes out more when I get cold.
You going to go to the house?
Yeah.
What's that about?
My dad says to do the driveway.
What's that?
My dad says to do the driveway.
Do the driveway.
Do the driveway, he says.
That's crazy. And your first foray into, like, did you come out of college going into your own business, or did you work for somebody first?
Well, there really wasn't a lot of college.
Really?
No.
I assumed you went to college.
No, I took night classes at Cardinal Stritch University, which I don't think is around anymore, for business management, but I never finished a degree. I got to the finance side and was like, I'll probably just hire this out. I'm good.
So you kind of like you just had a notion of, was there like a childhood thing that you used to do where, you know, selling, you know, candy at school to kids or whatever?
You know, it came from, I think it came from my dad.
Yeah.
It really did. He owned a security business in Wisconsin. It was called Innovative Systems. And I grew up watching him run that company. And I was the kid that wanted to go at 8, 9 years old and put the tie on and go to the trade shows with him and sell central vac and home automation and stereo systems. And, you know, I loved that interaction with people. Mm-hmm. And so growing up inside that business, I learned a lot from him behind the scenes. And I didn't actually work for him until I was about 21.
Really? When
he called me up and he was like, hey, we need another cable puller.
Oh, okay. Okay. So family business kind of, because it's a similar business that I came up in.
Yeah. I think I had to prove to him that I could take the workforce seriously when I was younger.
Right.
And then he gave me literally like the most bottom of the barrel job. Of course, because that's where you put your kids.
Well, not only that, I think especially when it helps for sales. You know how you've gotten your hands dirty, you know what it takes.
Yeah.
Your words actually carry weight.
He had a plan. I think it was that you were going to earn your way, not necessarily to the top.
Yeah.
But if you really want to learn this industry and you really want to be here and take it seriously, you're going to learn from the ground up.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad he did, because I had such a good time just pulling cable and installing devices that eventually I went to sales. Eventually I did consulting. Eventually I ended up owning my own company.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was a big part of that.
That's amazing. Cause I mean, I had no enjoyment out of doing any of that. I can't, well, to be fair, when my head was in it, I always knew that I was destined to do something else.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like I had one foot out the door the whole time. It sounded like you had much more of a commitment to a family type business. You saw it from, 8 and 9 years old, dude. 8 and 9 years old for me. I was like, I want to enjoy my summer vacations.
Yeah. It's all I knew my dad to do. I mean, my dad never had another job.
Yeah.
So I was adopted when I was very young. And I went to go live with him when I was like 2 years old. Mm-hmm. So all I've known was my mom and dad running this business basically. And, I just always watched him grow through that. And I always told people, like, I want to work for my dad one day. Like, that was my dream. And I left a really comfortable job that had potential ownership in a new retail location. And again, I was like 21.
Yeah.
And these guys were like ready to open a new store and have me be a part owner of this.
Yeah.
And my dad called and I was like, I got to go. This is my dream, to go make $13 an hour and pull cable. But man, I learned so much there, and it was such a good company. Like, I've yet to this day to find a company similar to the one that him and his partners have created.
I am Vinny Tavares. I'm the owner of Milltown Bikes, right in the heart of Columbia, Tennessee, on the square. And we're here to serve the community. We have bicycles from kids to adults, e-bikes, mountain bikes, road bikes. We run a repair shop. So I am the third generation of this current bike shop. It's been here since the 70s. It's a historical building. It's an integral part of the downtown community in Columbia. We get customers here coming in and talking that they got their very first bike here. So the reception has been great. Everybody's been super friendly, super welcoming. A lot of the old customers that been coming here for generations now still come here. They're now my customers, and I have a huge responsibility to continue to carry that legacy and that passion forward.
Hi, I'm Jason Miller. I'm the owner of Christian Brothers Automotive here in Spring Hill, Tennessee. We fix cars here, both European and domestic, from simple oil changes to complete engine rebuilds and replacements. Most important thing, though, is while you're waiting, we've got the best snack game in town, and we invite you to make yourself at home and get to know us, and we treat you like family. We're located right across the street from Walmart on Highway 31 right here in Spring Hill. Let us know that you heard about us on this ad, and we'll give you 10% off your next oil change. So stop on in and see us in downtown Spring Hill. Do we even have a downtown in Spring Hill?
Now, what were you pulling? Like Cat 5, Cat 6, Plenum, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we were pulling Cat 5, Cat 6, the majority of security cabling, fire alarm cabling, because we were a security and fire alarm company.
Yeah.
But I was part of that industry when you were transitioning from analog to IP.
Yeah.
And we lost a lot of people in that industry because they didn't want to deal with this new technology and networks. And, you know, you had the old guys that were like, this is kid stuff, you know, this is above me. But I was right in that generation where we flipped, and I got to learn networks and switching and subnets and all that stuff. And that was fun and interesting.
So you're setting up switches and distribution panels, all that stuff.
Yeah, just real minor switching, because we weren't an IT management company.
Right.
We never wanted to be that.
Yeah.
But when you're running security devices and putting control panels on the network and cameras on the network, as you know, it's going to hit a PoE switch.
Yeah.
So we would go to that point and manage the PoE switch, but really IT would take over the management of that. We would install, and then that would go on their network, and we were pretty much hands off.
Were you cutting down on either end too, putting like jacks in or whatever, and RJ 45s?
Yeah, we would do definite termination, or what we call dog houses.
Dude, this is going to get nerdy real quick.
Yes, let's go. We didn't even get to the data center life yet.
Dude, I remember in the 80s, I was freaking, my father taught me how to, put amphenol connectors together with 25 pair of cable.
What?
But when I got into the phone business, like full time with my dad, that's when everything went digital. To your point, like with that, I was kind of like, my dad was more into the technology side of things as well. We went from analog, and things were kind of sort of analog digital. Like everything required a 2-pair cable. Yeah. And then eventually just went down to 1-pair.
Tell me, what was the family business?
It was telecom. It was with Tri-State Telephone, it was called.
So you were going into businesses and homes with phone lines.
Yep, phone lines. We take it for we take the from the universal interface wherever the telco terminated. We take it from there and import all the lines into the system.
Oh wow!
Into inside, like a PBX type thing.
So you were the other side of what we were, because that's OSP, outside plant. We were all ISP, inside plant.
Oh, we did all inside. It was all business interconnect.
Yeah.
We were like telephone company stuff was like, 9X and SNET back in the day. Yeah. Stuff people never heard of. We actually had phone companies, where, they're so, you don't really hear about phone companies these days other than cellular carriers. But back in the day, someone have to bring a T1 line in. They would set up, the outside, to your point. We would handle the inside for phones and voicemail.
I know T1 line because my dad's business for the longest time ran on, I believe he had 1 or 2 T1 lines to the building.
Yep.
And that was like archaic.
Oh, dude, it was, well, back, when you got into it probably, but for us, it was cutting edge. It was nuts. And then I get into radio and that was one of the things that in radio, especially when I went to Vegas, that kind of brought the wall down between my studio and the engineering department, because the engineers were like on an island and nobody really understood what they did. All we knew is that they kept the signal on the air, and they were hard to get to know, especially if you were new. So I go into their office, I needed something, their help with something, and they had all the 66 blocks on the walls. So they were using cross-connecting 66 blocks to manage radio operations, which I found interesting. So I walk in and I'm like, these cross connections are beautiful, buddy. And he kind of looked at me, the chief engineer kind of looked at me like, how do you know what a cross connection is? And we just it went from there.
I'm cool like that.
Didn't expect the new production guy to know what a cross connection was.
Yeah, that's some historical stuff, man. I mean, even
am I really dating myself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to hang. You're losing me.
But back then, it was a lot of ISDN lines we had to deal with. Well, I didn't have to deal with them, but that's what we used a lot in radio. So
the hottest thing to come around when I was growing up, when I really, I guess, started getting introduced to technology, was 56K modems and the AOL discs with the minutes.
Yeah.
That was my childhood.
Oh my God. Yeah. You're a kid in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my 20s. Well, late teens and 20s. Cause my father got, remember we got a computer with a gigabyte drive.
Whew.
Yeah. It was 1996.
Fast.
And he's like, I'm like, we're never going to fill this thing up. Now that's the average size of a 1 minute video. You know?
What's your phone got? 32, 64 gigs on it for storage now?
Gosh, freaking nuts. And it's we have this thing's huge, and of course all we used it for is getting on AOL. Yeah. And I got the modem dial up and stuff like that. But I swear, dude, where were you when you first heard about the internet?
Well,
I guess you kind of grew up with it.
I grew up with it, yeah. I don't remember. I think it probably was a mailer from AOL. And I asked my parents, how do I do this? And we didn't have a computer in our house.
Nobody did.
Yeah. We had an Apple something with the green screen, that we'd play.
It was a Macintosh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we had.
No, was it Apple II? A really narrow tower?
And the green screen.
Yeah.
And the...
It was the first iteration of Windows.
Right. And I remember going on there AOL. And I'm like, that's not how this works.
Well, I can't find it from here. It's I guess I got to connect the phone line to it.
Right. And my dad, just recently he sold his bag phone, which I'm so mad because I wanted it.
Oh, dude, what a relic.
Bag phones, dude. That was hot. But my dad had got a laptop. And I remember with a PCM CIA card.
Yeah.
And I remember being young and feeling really cool that I knew how to say that.
Yeah.
This is a network interface card.
Yeah.
And then I started getting online and I was like, wow, there's a whole world out here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A whole bunch of predators out there and charlatans.
There wasn't a whole lot of that I knew about at the time.
You've got mail. Oh, we got a picture coming through.
What is this?
It's a GIF, whatever that is. 10 minutes later, and 10 minutes from now, I'm going to be able to see the entire thing because it's going line by line to download it.
File's done.
Yeah. File's done. You remember that voice? You've got mail. File's done. And he said it with a smile in his voice. It's file's done. You can kind of see him winking at the camera when he did it. He was like, file's done. Yeah. Yeah, for those of you listening, either you're getting really nostalgic and remembering this stuff, or you're what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah, these old dudes.
Yeah.
I am old now. I just turned 40 in December.
Oh, gosh, dude, you're not old.
I know. I got to start taking care of myself.
Yeah, you do. It's 40 is the new 30.
I don't feel 40. I feel young. I feel energetic.
Dude, I'm 50. I feel like I'm 35.
See? It's just a number.
It is.
My dad's 70. My dad is 70 years old, right? He's still remodeling a house for fun.
Good for him.
Like flipping houses. And at first I was against that because I'm like, I don't want him in Florida alone. If he's listening to this, which he will, he'll know why, because he got shocked on a ladder one time and he was the only one in the house.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want you down there doing this and getting hurt. And so, but then I thought about it. I'm like, it keeps him moving. It keeps him happy.
Yeah.
But man, this guy, it's purpose.
Yeah.
And he's good at it.
Yeah.
This guy, we went on the water last time. He's wide open, 60, 70 miles an hour on the water on a wave runner. He is.
Good for him.
He's the youngest 70-year-old I know.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I was asking before when you heard about, first time you heard about the internet. It makes sense because I think that's about the time I understood what the internet was. But my parents used to camp a lot. So either bringing the boat with us and going fishing or just going on a recreational campground or whatever, I would always seek out the playground to go find other kids my age. So I was about 14, 15 years old, might have been 89, 90. And I found a friend, and we just started hanging out, swinging and whatever, and talking. And at the end of the night, he's like, "Oh, I got to go back to my, trailer. You guys going to be around tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think we're here for another day or two, whatever." He's like, "Well, give me your electronic mail address."
Huh?
And I go, "What? Electronic mail? What? I don't understand." He's like, "What? You don't have one of those?" I go, "No, I have no idea I don't even know what you're talking about."
Think my mailbox got electric?
Yeah. I'm like, I can give you my regular address just with a plug on it or something, And yeah, 1989, 90, this dude was already using email.
Wow.
I know. I remember that interaction. I was like, man, imagine being that early.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, that's like us with ChatGPT now. Remember, ChatGPT became hot and we're like, what is this? I'm not using that. Right? I feel like ChatGPT was our generation of the internet. Like everyone's like, that's never going to go anywhere. AI.
I think social media too,
Yeah.
Because the internet really kind of sunk its teeth into society. I think you had a lot of the adopters. That happened around 2000, 2001. Because I remember it becoming a problem for the car business probably in 06, 07. It really started, people started using the internet to research cars and buy them and stuff like that.
Like Auto Trader.
Yep. All those different sites started coming out and it became a lot more user friendly. And here's the thing I've been saying is that like crypto, that's a technology to watch, especially when it deals with money.
Yeah.
I feel like we are with crypto with the way society in the world was with the internet, probably circa 1996.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like we know it's there.
We know it's there. We're aware of it.
Yeah.
We don't know how it impacts our lives yet.
Are you into crypto without getting into numbers?
I am.
I'm on the fence.
Yeah. I see that things are cyclical, and I think that eventually we're going to be using a lot of crypto, especially now that you can buy, was it Steak and Shake that's got a Bitcoin burger?
Oh.
You can buy it with Bitcoin. Once Amazon, it gives you an option to buy with Bitcoin, it's going to be off to the races.
Yeah. You think like the Federal Reserve and the banking systems will all get in there and turn it into a currency and dilute it down?
That's the thing about Bitcoin is that you can only, as it stands now, I'm not sure if this is, if it's in stone, but there can only be 21 million Bitcoin. That's the limit. That's the beautiful thing about it. So the subdivisions of a Bitcoin or a Satoshi is what they call it. So if that is indeed, is Bitcoin going to be the America Online of crypto? Because eventually America Online yielded to Netscape, and we had other ways of getting on the internet. And then, search engines came about. You had Yahoo, you had Ask Jeeves, who's the one who beat it to the top? Right. And then Yahoo eventually was replaced by Google, and Google does everything now. So there's several iterations of the wild, wild west that we're in. Will Bitcoin survive? And who's going to be in the next case? Could be Ripple, could be Ethereum, Cardano,
It's been around for how long? Like it's not going anywhere. I think the biggest holdup is it just a monetary investment tool like a mutual fund? Or is it
right now it is.
Right now it is, and that's fine.
Yeah. Highly volatile.
Mm-hmm. And then I know some dealerships were trying, like, I don't know, there were high-end exotic car dealers that were starting to take Bitcoin. Maybe they still do, maybe they stopped. I haven't stayed that in tune with it.
Yeah.
But like it was starting to kind of become a currency.
Oh, yeah. Because I mean, it's as soon as you train your brain to stop thinking of it in dollars worth of value, that has yet to happen. Because everybody but we're all still thinking about, well, hey, it's worth $110,000. We're still placing our value in the dollar amount, which it's supposed to replace the dollar. So eventually, they're saying if you own a whole Bitcoin, you're going to be known in the future as a whole coiner. And that's going to be something to be like, you'll be the next, multimillionaire in that sense. Because a lot of people aren't going to be able to afford buying up, they'll be Satoshi millionaires as opposed to a whole coiner.
Look at the early adopters of Bitcoin. I mean, I know guys that graduated a few years after I did in high school, and they were hanging out with guys who were getting ready to retire at the plant, and they talked about getting into this Bitcoin, and they all pooled together and bought a bunch of it. Those dudes are doing fine right now.
Yeah.
Think about what they bought it for.
If they held it right now, they're probably still doing fine, depending on when they bought it. But it came out in 2009. And it was the reason why they did it was because of the 2008 meltdown, because somebody was tired of the manipulation of the currency.
They had to have been right around there, if not a few years after.
Yeah, which that's early adoption.
Yes.
I remember hearing about it when I worked for Mercedes in 2013, 2014. Somebody had mentioned crypto, and I'm like, yeah, I'm aware of it, but I have no idea. I don't even know how to begin looking into the stuff.
What was it going for back then?
Oh, dude, Bitcoin 2013 is probably less than $1. And that's the thing is I remember trading stocks, and I had a bad experience in my early 20s because I wasn't good at it. But yeah, man, if I just figured it out then. But how many people did that and then lost the hard drive? You hear those stories all the time.
For sure. Yeah, there was some guy, wasn't he digging through the rubble that was looking for his hard drive worth billions? Oh,
it's got to be.
It's gone.
It's gone. How many of those cases like that are out there? I mean, that's all unattainable Bitcoin. In that 21 million number.
Gone.
It's gone. But I mean, who knows? Bitcoin seems to be the most, because especially now the other countries are getting into it. Mm-hmm. El Salvador, gosh, they're buying it up like it's freaking candy.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people are placing distrust in their financial systems, and they see this as it's volatile, but it's
the people's currency.
It's a people's currency. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. Well, there you go, man. So you look at, you eventually, you got the voice data cabling business out of your system and wanted to become a fireman.
Well, yeah.
How did that happen?
That's a really interesting story of how that happened. Things happen for wild reasons, regardless of what your beliefs are. We got into voice and data cabling when I started my own company, because it was one of the things that I wanted my dad to get into, kind of as a next generation leap. But he had sold the company off and didn't want any part of that. So when I left the company after he had sold it, I did a 6-month stint in corporate with the company that bought my dad's company. And I was like, I'm out of here. And you're going to love this. I went to go work in the data center world. And so I was doing co-locations and hypervisors and virtual machines. And
you're getting excited just talking about it now.
That's the stuff, baby. That's the fun stuff. And I learned about fiber SAN networks and true infrastructure design. And I got to work with engineers. Well, that sun had started setting and they changed our comp plan. And I was like, I'm out of here. But at the same time, my phone starts ringing for companies that were looking for help from the previous company that my dad owned. Flash forward, I ended up with a handful of these clients going, what do I do with them? And my wife was like, no one's going to take care of them like you do. You should just start your own thing. And I was like, oh, this is a good idea. How do you start an LLC in Wisconsin? Right. And so that became a 3-year roller coaster and a bit of a blur in my life. And I grew that company very fast out of the gate. We started in my garage, and 6-9 months later, we had 10 full-time people in an office, and we were moving. and we moved too fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not a good person then. I was smoking a pack a day, Marv menthol lights, love them, and drinking like a fish. Just not a good person, and I kind of got burnt out. So, long story short, and we can talk about that later. But I had found those guys jobs and let them know that we were coming to an end. And I was kind of like in that phase of what do you do with your life now, right? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I just closed my business down. And I was going to have drinks with my buddy at one of our favorite beach bars in Wisconsin.
You don't hear that too much about Wisconsin.
Yeah.
A beach bar in Wisconsin.
Well, the fact I had to drive to go to a bar when there was like 6 of them outside of my house.
Right.
Every corner.
Yeah.
But, we were going to talk and there was an accident that happened in front of me. And come to find out later, this lady had a stroke at like 80 miles an hour.
Oof.
Flying down the freeway. She bangs, left, right, head ends into a tree. Poof, car starts going. I'm behind her. So I pull off and I'm like, I got to pull her out. So I bust this window I had a drill bit in the back of my car. I busted the window, pulled her out of that. And I was like just dumping on to the paramedics that showed up on scene. And I was like, man, I don't know what I want to do with my life, but I think I want to do this. And the guy I was like, how do I do it? Like, do I got to go to school or? And he's like, well, do you have any firefighters in your family? I was like, no. He's like, it's going to be tough, man. And he kind of coached me on like how to get into the service. And I wish I would have got the guy's name because he was the whole reason. Well, she was, I got a letter from her thanking me and everyone that had helped her that day. And we stayed in contact.
Yeah.
But it's like, she was really the reason that I became a firefighter.
Wow.
And that started another 3.5 year just training stint of growing from literally a guy that knocked on the door of a fire department that said, I can fog a mirror. If you train me, I'll do this job. I want to do this. And they're like, why? But I was like, I don't care at the time. Like, throw me into a burning building. I don't care. I just, if that's how I go down, then at least I was helping someone.
Right.
I was kind of in that dark place, but also looking for something new in life. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Do you feel like, you said that in the previous business, you didn't think of yourself as a good person.
Yeah.
Was this kind of a redeeming thing for you?
I think this was like, if this is it and I end up in a burning building, great.
Right.
I was in a dark spot. I guess I felt like a failure, at the time. And I'm like, what else is left? Like, This is it. And there's enough danger and there's enough high level energy here that I want to be here, but I can also help people too. And I didn't realize like how much more medical that was.
Yeah.
I thought firefighting was jumping in buildings and
putting out fires and
putting out fire, right? Like you see on TV. And I was like, this would be fun to do every day. That's rarely what we did. It was mostly medical, which was great because that's what I loved, actually. I loved the medical side. I loved helping people when they really needed help.
Yeah. So paramedic kind of training?
Just below. So there's like a first responder training that dispatchers go through. Then there's EMT basic where you're starting to administer some medications. And believe it or not, oxygen is a medication. Well, in Wisconsin, they allow you like 5 or 6 drugs to administer under an EMT basic license.
Yeah.
You still got to go to class for this, and it's a national cert. But then there's advanced EMT where you're starting to do IVs and a little bit more medication, paramedic, critical care paramedic. I mean, I wanted to go all the way up. I wanted to be an ER or a flight nurse. That was my goal.
Yeah. Well, very cool.
Yeah.
And then you said in your downtime, because you were 2 days on, 4 days off.
When I came here to Tennessee, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was 48 on, 96 off.
So you came here to Tennessee because of this job.
Yeah.
When was that?
2021.
Oh, wow. This is recent.
Yeah. I haven't even been here 5 years yet.
Well, your disposition dictates that you've been doing this for that was my impression.
Oh,
that's a good thing.
Good. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I loved the firefighting industry and I miss, people ask like, do you miss it when I talk to other firefighters back home and around here? And I'm like, I miss I miss the physical piece of it, having to always be in condition and being strong and strength training and conditioning. I loved that part of it. And I also miss running around in the middle of the night while everyone's asleep, sirens are blaring, just like ready to go help someone with a stub toe.
Get a cat out of a tree.
Yeah.
So in your downtime, you're telling me before we started recording that you got into exotic, really high-end luxury exotic car, curating, as well as you're putting it on, you're selling them essentially for other people.
Correct. Yeah. I was, I had
like
this
a hobby in a way.
It started as a hobby.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, it was one of those get lucky things. I didn't realize when you play at that top level of cars, like for instance, at one point in time, and it happened pretty quick, I was representing one of the most exclusive cars in the country that there was only 2 available.
Mm-hmm.
So you either had to buy it from them or you had to buy it from me and my client. And that told me that I was in the right place with exclusivity. So if we could sell 2 or 3 of those cars a year, great.
Mm-hmm.
And so we sold 2 of those cars, and I was like, this firefighting thing it's not really for me anymore.
Got it out of my system.
I'm good. I'm going to go focus on cars. But man, that's a rough business, as you know.
Well, I mean, we were selling, franchise Mercedes, and before that it was Honda for me.
Okay.
It was, you're basically having your business sort of being dropped off at your doorstep. You don't really have to prospect all that much. You could.
Yeah.
But, generally everybody in the car business is waiting for people to walk in or make a phone call or do an internet lead, that kind of thing. But in your case, you had a highly sought after, unique, very limited production item.
Yep.
I think that would be an interesting. I would probably really enjoy doing that.
I did.
Yeah.
I think only recently, call it the last 9 months, when I started getting into everything else that I've gotten into, where it was like, that car business is really fun, and you're going to get to work on a lot of cool stuff, and you're going to get to meet a lot of exclusive people that you otherwise wouldn't have gotten introduced to.
Yeah. What made it rough, though, to you, in your opinion?
I think it was 98% a waste of time.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that 2% of time where you actually get all the stars to line up, and you've got a really good seller and a really good buyer, and you're able to get everyone to the table, and we can make a deal. It's got to go through these stages, and there's like 10 steps to this, as you know, right? It's got to be the right car. It's got to be the right buyer. We have to have the money. It has to be verified. It has to go escrow. It has to do this. At any time, anybody can back out.
Yeah.
And so that was the sucky part. That was the 2%. That was the 98% of stuff that I got just tired of doing.
Right.
Now I have dealers here around Nashville area where I'm like, if you're looking for something, just call this guy. You can deal with it.
Right.
I got other stuff now. But it was fun.
You became known as the high-end car guy then.
I did.
With your customer base.
I did, yeah. It was very exclusive customer base too. Like I was $500,000 or above.
Yeah.
So like people would come to me, hey, I've got this new Corvette. And I'm like, it's $130,000 car. You can send it over here. I want nothing to do with it. But
because the slice of the pie is not big enough. It's not worth it.
It was partly that. That wasn't all of it. It was that anybody could buy that car.
Yeah.
And if you could easily buy that car from any number of dealers around the country, I didn't want it. I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
My clients expected exclusivity and rarity.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted the cars that there was only a handful available at the time. Ferrari 812 Competizione. At one time, it was me and someone else that had one available in the country, because Ferrari locks those down.
Ferrari is really... Have you read some of the stories or heard some of the stories of what they do?
I've lived it. Yeah.
They ban people from never buying Ferraris ever again. Like big names.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Because what people don't understand is I see it from both sides of the fence.
I get it too. Yeah.
Right. And
protecting their brand.
You're protecting your brand, but you're also protecting your ambassadors or your clients. So if I'm Ferrari and I'm offering you a car that is $860,000 and you buy this knowing that it's a rare car.
Yeah.
Ferrari is going to put everyone who buys a car like that under a 6, 9, 12-month no resale contract. Meaning if you sell this car, you're done. We won't offer you anything. Your garage is gone. We don't care. Go find a dealer. But if you play by their rules, right? And it is a business plan and it works. In 6 months, that car comes off the contract and it's now worth $2.4 million.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it sucks from the outside looking in, but when you're the person that owns that car, Ferrari just made you a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're thought of as a brand ambassador for that company, for that brand.
Yeah.
You know, you are expected to represent them for having this vehicle.
Are you able to, are you still keeping contact with the people, your customer base that you deal with?
100%.
Yeah.
You know, now we're just doing things differently. Now we're getting into more business ventures and we're getting into more different startups and funding of different things. And it's great because I've had that existing network and I've built upon that network. Now we get to do different stuff together because we have the 3 golden rules. We know each other, like each other, and trust each other.
Mm-hmm. And that's all because of exotic cars. I mean, did you just know somebody who had like a Lambo or something like that? Or
well, the whole start of it was, being a security consultant for a little while.
Yeah.
Was working with some of these very high level VIPs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was their go-to for security and automation. And I was the guy they called when they were building 15,000 square foot additions onto their house.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of kept in touch with those people, not because of their status, but because they were naturally good people.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I don't know what this could be down the road someday, but I really love keeping up with you and keeping in touch.
Did you have kind of like an innate ability to come across an opportunity and automatically know who would be a good match for it? Because I feel like I have that ability.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, this would be like, I literally came across on an auction, like a piece of property up in Nashville. And the owner, the CEO of the Dream Motor Group, I dare I say I'm friends with him. He'd probably say I am, but I'm like, I don't really like to claim things unless they're real. So probably a little bit more of an acquaintance and probably in that nebulous area between acquaintance and friend. If I text him, there's a probably 5 to 6 out of 10 chance he'll hit me back.
Yeah.
And it might just be one word, but he owns a couple dealerships here in town. And I know he's always on the lookout for property and expanding his businesses. And I'm like, ooh, this would be ideal for you because it's a great property for like a Sprinter van service area and stuff like that. And I texted it to him and his brother and the president of the company. I said, hey guys, not for nothing. I said, I just came across this. This might be of interest to you. It's literally around the corner from where all your dealerships are. Ultimately it wasn't something that they wanted to pursue at the time. The timing wasn't right, but I just had like, oh, that would be good for them. You know what I mean? It's like a innate sensibility to that opportunity to be great for you.
Yeah.
You guys, is that what it was? Kind of like that?
It was a lot of connecting the dots. And sometimes you connect the dots for your own benefit.
Yeah.
And sometimes you connect the dots for solidifying the relationship. Right. And I think that's networking 101. Right? You should always be looking out for your network. It's a 2-way street.
Yeah.
A lot of people are gimme leads, but they're never, hey, I thought of you in this conversation or this room.
Dude, I do that all the time.
Because we're connectors and we enjoy that. And to us, that's the benefit of being friends with us is that I'm always on the lookout for you. Now, you probably didn't get a dime off that deal and who cares? But the fact is that you knew someone that was looking for it.
Yeah.
And what if that was like perfectly lined up and they were like, yeah, man, Jim showed me this. Like, what a good guy.
Yeah. You try.
You're a good guy.
I try. So from there you went to, that kind of like opened up doors to other things that you're currently doing now. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Getting into like private equity type stuff. So commercial, industrial, real estate development, multifamily development, large facilities, 1.8 million square feet that we're looking to put businesses into. A lot of that came from the previous life I had in security and the cars that I've dealt with, where someone was like, man, Rob found me that car pretty fast. Like, wonder if you can find some clients to fill this space up too. Mm-hmm. You know, that one, they thought of me, which was wild. And
what was like the first property and how did that come about? Like what kind of whetted your appetite?
Well, so we have 1.8 million square feet of warehouse space in Madison, Wisconsin, which is awesome because I'm direct with the two owners on it. One of them was a car client of mine. In fact, he was the first car client of mine. Mm-hmm. It was a 1969 El Camino SS. And
funny how you remember that stuff.
It's the one. Yeah. That was the first guy where I was like, okay, this is working.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a big sale either, Jim. I think it was a $50,000, $60,000 car.
It's still notable. Yeah.
But the fact is, he had been looking for this car for like a year.
Right.
And I had it for him in a week.
That's so fun. I just did that. You know, Lindsay Stafford? Does that ring a bell?
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah. She was like looking, she's like, I'm going to buy, I want a 2025 GLS Mercedes. And it's got to have this. And like, as soon as she started talking to him, I went instantly back into car salesman mode. Tell me more. And she's like, nobody can find this exact configuration. I'm like, bull crap. I said, there's nothing. Is it like a 580? Is it AMG? No, it's just a regular 450. Okay. That should be like, shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
I go on cars.com and I found it within 5 minutes. Called the dealership, and she started, I started going back and forth with the sales guy, like acting as an intermediary.
Good.
And there's a guy going around, his name is the 615 Negotiator.
Yeah, I met him. He's a good dude.
I would like to have him on.
I would like to work out with him one day.
Work out with him?
Yeah, he just seems like
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's a big guy.
He came to our B&I actually. But he's being the intermediary for people buying cars.
That's a thing.
Yeah. And it's like, he's getting paid pretty well, apparently.
Yeah. That's,
I thought about doing that. I'm like, I can do that,
You just cut the BS out of it all. You're like, look, here, we're going to be square up. Here's a deal. This is what they're looking for. And you get into it. Yeah. I don't have the patience for that.
I don't mind doing it. I like doing it. I enjoyed that aspect of it. But I get, I always used to equate it to heartbreak, when any given thing, like what you're talking about, it was like putting a big puzzle together.
Yeah.
All the pieces had to fit right. And eventually you got really good at making them fit. So.
Yeah. I did a little stint in the dealership world, in the power sports world with like ATVs, UTVs, dirt bikes, boats. I really love the boats. Shocker. Yeah. And I really wanted that to take off, but man, that did not fit my personality very well.
Hard sell closers.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's hard sell closers. Mm-hmm. And as long as you understand there's no relationship in that business, like you do good.
All transactional.
It's all transactional, but that's just not me.
No.
I want the long term.
I had to be able to put my head on a pillow at night when I sold cars.
Yeah.
And I would, I found when you just shot from the hip and surprised people with the honest truth, they trusted you, Well, hey, you're making money on the financing. I said, yeah, we are. It's a profit center. We added a point or two depending on what we're able to get.
Yeah.
But our company doesn't allow us to go beyond 2 points profit on whatever the buy rate is. But yeah, that's how we make extra money. It's the name of the game.
People ask, like, what's the doc fee? And I'd be like, dude, we have to put this thing together. Like, still to this day, I have no idea what the doc fee is.
Doc fee was typically, it really kind of, because sometimes you would actually, is it an arbitrary charge to get more profit out of a car?
There's time. I get that there's time for someone to set that thing up out of a box. Because people don't realize, unlike cars, which they're set up on those too.
Yeah. But sometimes on a brand new car, a lot of times they're losing money on them. They really are.
Really?
Yeah. Depending on the brand, if it's, not necessarily like I think probably the line is drawn on Porsche and above. And of course the higher end Audi, BMW, Mercedes, AMG lines like Maybach and stuff like that. But, a lot of times if you're getting MSRP on out the door, like the sticker price is what the total out the door price is, dude, you're doing good. Stop arguing.
Yeah.
Stop trying to get the best deal. That's why you're spending hours at a dealership, because, hey, they used to say stickers quicker. So if you're on or around or slightly above MSRP on a car deal, just go with it.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
I know people that love that game. They're great at their game.
Yeah.
Some of these young dudes coming up to you that I know in my network are just absolute rock stars in the pre-owned car game. Great.
Yeah.
That is a very rare skill set.
Yeah.
But I just moved on.
Does your garage door sound like this? If it does, it's screaming for help. Call Incredible Doors, 931-348-DOOR. We're making garage doors in Murray and Williamson counties work better and sound better. We just make them incredible again. Go to IncredibleDoors.com or call 931-348-DOOR. Follow us on Facebook for specials on maintenance visits, keypads, and other items. 931-348-DOOR. IncredibleDoors.com. Yeah, and it's like all of us in the dealership knew we were really good salespeople, but that was the thing. What's lucrative? We couldn't find anything have the opportunity of what is really lucrative. Like even, the Ferrari dealership here, a buddy of mine had an opportunity to go there. He stayed where he was. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, the money's not all that you think. Really? How many cars did you have to sell in a month? What do you sell, 1 or 2 a month?
Yeah. And I wonder how I thought that would be a cool opportunity, but I'm like, it's dealership life is not for me. I'm fine with that. But then I wonder how those percentages work, because you're selling $300,000, $400,000, $600,000, $800,000 cars.
Yeah.
Like, and how many of those can you really sell in a month?
Highly discerning clientele.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, commissions on those probably making 10, 15. I would imagine. I might sound completely out of the ballpark and completely naive right now, but I'd have to think you'd probably make it between 10 and 20 grand a car. I would have to think. I could be way off.
Well, and that's pretty good if you have the right personality and you can hang out in those areas and schmooze, as my dad would say, right? You're good at building those personalities. You'd probably do well. But man, I would just hate to go in there day one and then be like, you got to sell 5 cars this month, and be like, not everybody wants to use this Ferrari dealer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're the only one in, I think the next one's in Atlanta.
Yep. And then you go north. I don't think New Jersey?
Well, I think maybe Cincinnati might have one.
I don't know.
Like somewhere in Ohio. I'm sure Chicago has one.
I don't know.
No, but I mean, that's the thing, is that when they had the grand opening, the CEO gets up and he says, the reason why we have you got to really look around here. And he was addressing the crowd, and he said something along the lines of, this means one thing, that Nashville can actually accommodate a Ferrari dealership. Yeah. He goes, y'all are rich. But I mean, we also have a Bentley, a Rolls Royce,
Mercedes.
Mercedes you'll find them in a lot more towns, but I mean, you've got a Bentley and a Rolls Royce dealership. That says something too. Those are premium cars.
Yep.
I don't think they have the same kind of stipend and rules on them that Ferrari does, but it's crazy.
And Lamborghini of Nashville they're both great dealerships. Yeah. I've been to both of them for events. I know their people. Lamborghini was another phenomenal dealership here in Nashville too. So you have that competition here.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, the money is definitely here. And people think it's music. It's not just music, man. There's so much here. Dude, healthcare.
You got freaking, Amazon pretty much moving here. You got In-N-Out Burger that's moving here.
Oracle,
right. Yeah. Dude, it's becoming a real big corporate center.
It is.
A lot more than just music. But it's, I'm waiting for, maybe Tesla will move here at some point.
You know what I love about, I'll go back to Ferrari. Ferrari sells cars differently than Lamborghini does. In that you go into a Lamborghini, they'll tell you the speed.
Ferrari has fear of loss all over it. You have to be qualified. Like,
right.
The owner of the dealership can't buy a new Ferrari.
Yeah.
How ridiculous is that?
Yeah, you haven't earned it.
You have to earn it.
You do. And they keep a profile. They have like a My Ferrari Garage or something like that, but they keep a profile on all the VIN numbers you own, and that's how they judge, aside from like notoriety and stuff, but they look
like
at
automotive Big Brother.
Right. That's what it feels like. And again, I see it both sides of the fence.
Oh, totally.
But you go into a Ferrari dealer, and I knew a few of their sales guys still very closely, and you just listen to how they sell the car. It's not, the last thing they talk about is the power. It's the elegance. It's the luxury. It's the, do you see the design cues from this particular Ferrari built into here because of this? Like, it's function and styling. It makes you feel like you're buying art.
You really are.
You are.
And the customization of it too. I mean, they have the, oh gosh, what is it called? I did a video on it. It's like a sommelier lounge or something like that, but a sommelier is for wine. But there's a name for it.
I know what you're talking about. I just called it
Consigliere. You know, it's not that either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Some Italian name.
I know they call their collectors Ferraristas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's they're completely customizable. And then the trick is, like, do you go and you order the car just for you and what your taste is? Or do you go and order that car because you think in 3 to 5 years, that's going to be a pretty common, tasteful design? And I've seen it on both sides of the fence.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not going to be driving them, you know? Well, I guess they will. It's going to be it's a special occasion for them to drive something like that, but they don't want to put miles on it.
No, you know? Which is the other side of the fence too. Like, we as I would say an exotic car broker or consultant, like that was one of the things that I would raise an eyebrow on when you see a 4-year-old car and it's got 200 miles on it and people are like, wow, it's brand new. And I raise an eyebrow and go, what kind of maintenance was done and how long has it been sitting before it ran? And what's the oil looking like? What's the coolant looking like? Yeah. Like, we need these cars to run and drive and stay lubricated.
Just because it's got 200 miles on it doesn't mean, all the stuff, time still is a factor as well.
Yeah. Look at the Sultan of Brunei. I mean, he's got how many thousands of cars? Have you seen pictures of his collection? Go look at pictures of his collection. Like, it's cool you have that many cars. They're moldy, they're mildewy, they're dusty, the leather's cracking. And then you want to question firing that thing up and revving it?
Yeah.
It'll blow the block apart.
Yeah, there was a guy at the Mercedes dealership who, I guess, made an arrangement with the dealership, but it was a rare Mercedes that he kept in the service lane. Like, they kept it charged up, and all he wanted them to do was make sure the maintenance is done. And it's like, there's a business there. There's a lot of money moving into this area. And one of the things that's crossed my mind as far as a business is the car, 111 Motor Cars up in Franklin. I'd love to get those guys on.
Okay.
Let them know that, old Jim McCarthy would love to have them on.
I'll text them right now.
Cool.
They're good people.
That's an interesting business,
It's hot. It's hopping right now.
Yeah. Because people don't want to, you don't want to keep them at home.
You don't want to keep them at home. I mean, there's people there that they're hiding them there. I mean, their wife or husband or whatever, their significant other doesn't know they have them.
Oh, really?
So they stick them there.
Is that a lot of the case?
Yeah, you would do the same. I would do the same if
Dude, I would never buy a car like that. I don't care how much money I don't know. I say that now, but if I had, $100 million, I'm like, would I really buy a Lambo?
You have to maintain it.
Yeah, not only that, it's just like, I would rent one and drive one just to kind of get it out of my system. Maybe then I'd be like, I need to have one of these.
Yeah.
But I just can't justify spending $800,000 on a vehicle.
Well, and here's the thing, like, how many cars can you really own and keep in good operating condition and give attention to all so they're not sitting and decrepitating before you have to hire like a maintenance person?
Right.
And now there's an additional cost to keep all of your cars up and running. And
is that a part of their business, like doing the maintenance? That would be a good part of it, I would think.
111 Motor Cars has an entire service division.
Really?
And they're servicing everything from, your Toyotas, your Corvettes, your Miatas, your Hondas, all the way up to your Ferraris and your Lamborghinis.
What a multifaceted business, though. I mean, they're doing, and imagine they're doing consignment, they're doing sales, they're doing service. It's a club. It's it's basically your membership where you could store your car there and make sure it's maintained.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got events. They could do events there.
Tons.
Yeah, there's 5 different things right there.
Plus, you have the other businesses inside of that. You have the detailing company.
Right.
You have Pagani of Nashville.
Oh, did he secure that?
Which is hiding in there. I think they're getting ready to do their big move. Don't quote me. I don't know, but I'm sure they're moving somewhere downtown Nashville. And they're just kind of getting ready at that location.
I actually went to, we pitched lighting at Prestige Imports in Miami. And that's a Pagani dealership. It's the biggest Lambo dealership in the country, I want to say.
I know Prestige very well.
Yeah, Brent David, that's his name. Love to get him on because he's a second generation business owner out in North Miami there. Big rocking and rolling business. It was funny because, I went down there. I had to go do a lighting assessment, count all the lights for our business and stuff. And when I got finished, I went from one end of the dealership. He's got like an exotic, high-end used car store. He's got a high-end detailing. He's got a restaurant in there that serves amazing food. He's got the Lambo dealership. He's got Pagani. He, at one point I was supposed to meet him to just go over some, I'm like, hey, here's everything I went over. I'm going to bring the stuff by later. When do you want to meet? So on and so forth. So it's like, all right, come meet me around this area. We're going to hop in my car. I got to run down to the south end of the dealership. So he had one of these, skateboards with an engine on it. Pagani. The thing was like lower than my desk. He's like, hop in. I'm like,
more like rolling.
Dude, Brent David is like Metro as Metro gets. I mean, he is, good looking dude, well put together, spends, he takes his time in the morning to do his workouts, and he's just got that Miami lifestyle of a really successful dude. And here I am, dad bod. You know what I mean? I kid you not, man. I freaking got into that. I fell into this. First of all, I opened the door to get in. The seat's pushed up all the way.
Up? Like towards the dash?
Towards the dash. And I'm looking at it going,
what?
I don't even know where to look. I know there's not a little manual thing in front of the seat to, ratchet it back. It's got to be motorized. I don't know where the controls are. So I just like, screw it. Just freaking take one for the team. I literally fall into this thing. I felt like I was falling on the floor with my knees like up to my, and I kind of look at him and he's looking at me and the look on his face is like, really, dude? Like, okay. Instead of like saying, hey, let me help you there. Let me move the seat back.
Nah.
No, let me just get in here like a friggin', an oyster.
You're crammed in there.
Oh, I'm totally cramped. Big old freaking beer gut hanging between my legs. So he drives like a maniac down these back roads to get to the other part of the dealership. And we get down to the car wash detail restaurant that he has. And there's a spot outside of like an outdoor eating area. The only spot that was open.
Oh, wow.
So what does he do? And it's actually, if you were looking out towards the dealership, towards the road, the restaurant was kind of like situated on the front. And then the spot was to the left of the actual eatery. So if you backed in, guess who's on prominent display for everybody to be entertained?
Oh, no.
And it's exactly what he did.
It was you.
It was me.
Oh, no.
Struggling to get out of this freaking car. Struggling.
At
like
least let
literally
me know.
like putting my hand on the ground and trying to like lift, like the other hand lifting my leg out because I can't flex it that high. Dude, if I ever freaking had him on, I would give him such a hard time. It would be so funny.
Those cars are not built for big dudes like you and me.
No.
It's tight.
There was a guy who actually one Saturday at Mercedes, the first time I ever saw a Countach. Where was a Countach? Might have been a Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
So he pulls up, it's freaking electric blue. And all of us sales guys are like, whoa, you don't see that every day.
Yeah.
It's a common sight here at the dealership, but it's the first time I'd ever seen something like that in person. The dude got out. He must have been $1.04. Well, $4.
Like a jockey or
no?
Big?
He was like 400 pounds.
Wow.
It was a big. I'm like, I don't know who it was, but I'm like, dude, you were driving the wrong car.
No. Well, I had represented a Saline S7 coming out of Texas. And the driver, the first thing I asked was, how tall are you, the owner? He's like, well, that's a random question. And I said, because every one of these Salines S7s, they're built specific for the owner.
Yeah.
So it's like either I'm going to find someone that's close to your height, which sounds so nerdy to say, and he was like average 5'10" something.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, this is going to be a challenge if I present it to a guy that's 6'4", like, hey, you're going to have an upfront cost here because that ain't going to fit you anymore.
Yeah.
Now we got to rip the seat out of it. You got to get it all custom done. But that's a little nuance with those S7s. And I'm sure there's more cars out there like that, but I remember that sticking out in my head of like picturing like, how tall of a buyer can I find? And I'm like,
yeah,
too deep.
Yeah. When you have too much money, the things you spend your money on.
What's really comfortable though, that I was surprised. I was invited to Prancing Horse of Nashville to test drive their new 296 GTB when it first had come out 2 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I thought that was awesome because I had never driven a Ferrari in my life.
Right.
And here I was getting invited to this event to go with, I think it was the guy who runs the Challenge series for America. He was like my instructor. And so we took this car out. It's 820 horsepower. It's a twin turbo V6 with electric motors, right? So it's a hybrid. And we were by Opryland. And before I knew it on the on-ramp, you're doing like $140. And I could feel the eyeballs in my head getting pushed back.
Really?
That's how much acceleration this car had. But I say that because it was super comfortable inside. And you could have a conversation just like this. And I just remember it being like really odd that this sports car / death machine was so comfortable. And and it was, I didn't
really pleasant.
It was pleasant. You didn't roll into it.
It's a really good grocery getter.
It was.
Put the milk in the back. And
Probably get a bread and a gallon of milk in there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Up front.
Have you driven a Tesla?
I have not.
Oh,
I
my.
almost drove a Cybertruck because I was taking, I get called sometimes when a buddy of mine has a dealership and he goes to the Nashville Speedway for the big cars and coffee thing every quarter.
Yeah.
And so like if I'm on the list, he's like, hey, you want to drive something? And I'm like, yes. And I almost had to take a Tesla. So I was like in it. I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. And then he's like, hey, change of plans. You're going to take this Raptor R. And I was like, okay, cool. So I never got to drive one, but I did drive the Rivian, the R1T.
Yeah.
With Baja tires, like that thing will light them up at a light. It is fast.
Yeah. The torque on them are crazy.
It's like on or off.
Yeah. I've my business partner's got one. I've test driven a few of them.
The Rivian?
No, the Tesla.
Oh, the Tesla.
I would get one. I mean, I had a 4xe Jeep up until recently. That was nice to have. Nice to have the, I got like 600-700 miles out of a tank.
Really?
Yeah. I had good pickup. I had a turbo 4-cylinder engine, but way too much technology in one car from a company that shouldn't be doing that is problematic. That's why they had 7 freaking recalls on the damn thing in a course of a year.
Wow. Yeah, they pulled that line.
Yep.
They pulled that whole drivetrain, I believe. There's no more hybrid, at least in that sense. But
not for Stellantis, but I know Mercedes has had decent success with the hybrid technology like GLE, GLC that they've been rolling out. The EQ line, I think, is now defunct. They're electric. But I mean, I've taken, Sam up at Music City because I used to do a lot of video production for them. He says, I do a full, deep dive into the new EQS, and I got one for you. So I came up and grabbed it. And
sweet.
Dude, the thing was like, I think it was, with all at the time it was COVID, so they're adding like addendums onto the price. It was like $250,000.
Oh.
I'm like, you sure you want me to bring these? I'm like, okay, you're insured and everything. So, yeah, I think it was a beast.
I thought Jeep had brought that I'll call it the E-line, their E-Torque line.
Yeah.
I thought that would be very beneficial in the off-road scenario.
You'd think.
That's what I thought they put it in there for.
They is one of those things that they just either rolled it out too early. I mean, because I had a 2021. I had never had an issue with it, but it was like all the different forums and Facebook groups and stuff like that, numerous groups, not just one, just not like it got to the point where every day it was someone complaining, when's this recall going to be ready? When are they going to have the parts? You know, can I drive my car? Is it really going to catch on fire? That was the big threat.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, you know, you don't drive your car, don't charge it, park it away from any structure. Some employers were like, if you own one of these vehicles, don't come to work. It was that bad.
Well, there's parking garages downtown that you're probably aware of that say like, hey, electric car friendly, but not these ones.
Yeah. For a reason. Yeah.
The Volt, that disappeared quick.
Yeah. Tesla seems the only one to have gotten it right. And Rivian.
Let them.
But Rivian, the front end of that thing, my gosh, guys, you got to do a better job.
It's ugly.
Oh, it's so ugly.
Yeah.
It's like, man.
But I love the technology in the Rivian that you could say, I want to go from like Nashville to this point in Gatlinburg. And when I get there, I want to have 60% battery or at least 75% battery left. And it'll map the whole thing of like, you got to stop here and for this long, and it'll be about this much. And these two chargers are open and this is a fat. Like I thought, okay, that restores a little bit more confidence in the electric vehicle market.
Yeah.
I think the R1T is different, and I think I liked it because I'm an outdoors guy, much like yourself. So I could see me using more of those features.
Yeah,
you know, like the pass-through storage for like an entire fishing pole. Like that's cool.
And it's like all those things. Why don't they just put them in regular vehicles? Like all the innovation, because a lot of them have like the frunk. You could put more storage in the front of the vehicle, and of course the back and stuff like that. But man. Yeah, those things are freaking rockets.
They are. They're
cool. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
What? I've got nothing, man.
You got nothing.
I got nothing.
How do you want to help people? What are you putting out there? Anything? Getting into the commercial real estate space? And
I am. I'm considering getting my license, my agent license.
You talked to Jana Truman?
Who?
Yeah, we need to introduce you to her.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you need to come to my B&I tomorrow. Mel, make an introduction. She's always looking for new agents.
Is she related to Brian Truman?
Yeah.
Oh,
she's their husband and wife.
Ah.
So you already know them.
I know Brian Truman. Brian Truman's representing a property for a client or a buddy of mine.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's got quite a business too. He would be a good one to get on.
I've had them on before.
Did you?
I've known he and Jana for years.
Okay.
Yeah. She's in my B&I group. So.
I'm hemming and hawing it. I'm like, because I know what's going to happen. I'm one of those guys that like gets into something. And if I go through the whole study and the course, like that's going to be me for the next year.
Yeah.
I've got so much other stuff going on. But I think if you look at Rob Inc. or Wild Violet Ventures, it does benefit the portfolio and the company for me to have at least a real estate license.
Right.
I don't intend on ever being a broker. I can hang that license like somewhere with Truman or whatever, but just to have and be able to write those deals and know a little bit more about that industry would be beneficial.
I mean, if the juice is worth the squeeze.
It's worth the squeeze, especially when you're connected in those large square footage spaces. And
as well.
Well, and like, what are you missing? Like, if we don't have a building, we'll just go find a space and build a building.
Yeah.
Right? I tell people, and I don't say this arrogantly, but I tell people capital is the least of our concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can fund pretty much anything from a real estate and industrial development. But it's lining up the right investment with the right investor and having a business plan behind that of how it's going to be successful. That's the challenge.
Yeah. We
can go and get funding. That's not a problem. What's the right presentation and pitch for something that makes sense?
Right. Right. Well, right on, man.
Man, we talked about a lot today.
Yeah. Well, we have a passion for cars. It's an easy thing to talk about. Like, I always thought about doing like a car business podcast, and it came up the other day on a podcast I produce called Ales and Tales. And two of the other guys that I do it with we all worked together in a dealership once. And I said, that's not a bad idea to do something about cars. And they're like, oh, I'd love to. I've got stories upon story. I'm like, yeah, that's the thing, What
would you do different though? Because there's podcasts out there about cars, but I'm going to put you on the spot.
I think it would be car business centric. The audience would be people in the industry. talking about just storytelling, nightmares, wins, successes, a little bit of wisdom, mostly positive, but funny, because we all have like nightmare stories that at the time seemed like awful, but looking back on them, they're funny. They're just really funny. Like the time that I had a customer who was just a nightmare customer that I bent over backwards for. And, and I was having like, I think it was maybe 4 or 5 months after they bought a car from me, they bought a CLA for their soon to be 16-year-old daughter.
Oof.
$40,000 car. But anyway, good for them. And obviously new money.
Mm-hmm.
And it was written all over her plastic surgery face.
Oh, no.
And she calls me up because she was telling me that she was going to look into getting a car for herself when we talked about her daughter's car. I mean, dude, I bent over backwards. I went to their house, did the paperwork.
Wow.
They were out of town on some trip. I went and picked their daughter up, brought her to the dealership, showed her how to use the car. The nanny drove it back for her because she wasn't licensed, all the stuff. And I was having like a really bad month, a tough month. And I was on the way to show a car to a customer. And I get a phone call from this woman telling me, hey, I'm in the market for another car and I'm not going to buy it from you. That's literally why she called me.
Wow.
I'm like, she's like, you just didn't really serve our needs.
After you went through
After
all the
I
loops.
did, I'm like, yeah. And it's funny. I told it to a friend of mine who's still in the business. He's like, oh, dude, if I had a client like that, I'd tell him, thank God. Thank God. Yes.
Run.
Who do you need to talk to? I'll tell you, if I want, well, who do I hate the most that I could send you to?
Yeah. Don't be that way, man.
Dude, but there we are regaling the story, laughing about it. Like, who would do that?
Yikes.
You know what I mean?
I don't understand. Solve this issue for me. Yeah. Like, people know that they have to buy a car when it's time, whatever, 5 years, 10 years, whatever you do. They hate already the experience, the idea of just having to go deal with these dealerships.
Yep.
So there's already that terrible feeling going in.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to change that dealership culture in that, and tell me why this wouldn't work. The showroom is just the showroom. It's not the office.
Right.
The office is outside the showroom. That's where you go and you network and you build relationships. And like you said, you bring the car to someone.
Oh, I did that all the time.
Right?
Yep.
That's the next level deal.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these dealerships are like, you got to be here 6 days a week or 5 days a week. You're going to get a Tuesday and a Sunday off. If that.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they drill people being there so much when there's a whole world of business out there that they could go get and bring in.
I've had so many interviews, part of what I did for the Dream Motor Group and all the Mercedes Music City, Baton Rouge, the Woodlands, was interviewing their people. And one of the things that they do right is healthy culture. Like Joe Agresti, the CEO, he thinks that he says that his title is Chief Culture Enforcement Officer. Interesting. Yeah, he's a huge culture guy, and tries to shape his culture and nurture it and work on it in the realm of a Ritz-Carlton and how they do things, treating the customer a certain way, making sure they're being taken care of, making sure that they don't feel inadequate or that they're putting somebody off or that they're going to be hammered into a car, that kind of thing. When you bring it in for service, you're getting white glove treatment. And training his people to be empowered to within a certain dollar amount, they'll be able to take care of a customer from the porter on up, all have that kind of levity, that ability to do something for a customer. So they kind of implement that into their culture, which always begged the question when I talk to them, especially for people who came from other dealerships who did what you're talking about. I said, it doesn't have to be that way. Why? I guess when you're competing with other, Chevrolet, like you look at in a 50-mile radius, how many Chevy dealerships do we have? Probably 20.
Yeah, I was going to say 15, 20.
Yeah. So I guess in that scenario, you have to do what you have to do, and it becomes much more of a transactional experience rather than a relational. Higher end cars, I experienced that in Honda. But, one of the things that the guy who brought me into that dealership, who's still a good friend of mine, great mentor, great leader, great culture guy. He says, look, it's all about you. Sell the car, sell the dealership. Yeah. That's how you do it. People got to buy and know, like, and trust you. It always comes down to that in sales, and people, have been there for a long time. I always say, if for anybody who is looking to buy a car, go to their website, go to their About Us page, look at the team page, and are there relatively new looking pictures of the staff? Okay. If you have a lot of empty picture slots, that will tell you something.
It's about the experience too. I'll tell you a funny story because I know we're trying to cut the mics here, but my dad was now at the point just a few years ago between looking at buying a Corvette, which he'd always wanted, or buying a Challenger, which he had always wanted. So he found a 2022 Challenger, I think it was a year or two old, at a Lexus dealer in Brookfield, Wisconsin. And my dad went in there and he said he felt like he was an executive when he went in there. Mm-hmm. And he said that the experience was so nice and he knew he liked this car. And they test drove it. And it was just this nice, comfortable transaction. And then he says, so I bought the car. Well, then he gets a call a couple of weeks later, Mr. Steier, we need to have your car back in, your parts here. And he's going, I didn't order any parts. And they said, no, when we took the car in, we were supposed to replace, I think it was like a door handle or the inside passenger side lock-on-lock console, whatever it was. There was a part over there on the passenger side door they had to replace before the car was supposed to go on the lot. Mm-hmm. Well, my dad had bought the car before that could go in, so they called him back, in which my dad was blown away by it to begin with because they didn't have to. And so he brings the car into the service department. And he's like, it was like a business center. He's like, I set up, I was on my laptop. He's like, I felt like I was at the office. So he said when he moved to Florida, he's like, the one thing I'm really going to miss about Wisconsin is that dealership.
And those dealerships can choose to be that way. But even in the sales training world, there's one particular guy out there who's filling a void that another guy who came up in sales training left, and now he's more about real estate. Mm. This one particular person is now starting to fill that void, and he's all about, making salespeople feel inadequate. And if you don't have a six-pack, you're not going to be successful. And if you're not working on yourself, you're not going to be successful. And if you don't get up at 4:30 in the morning and do all these things like I do, you're not going to be successful. All that kind of bro, back-patting bull crap.
Yeah.
And it's like you're teaching, what's the biggest expense of a business? One of them is hiring, training, retention. It's expensive to keep good people.
Some dealerships just don't care.
They just shoot themselves in the foot. It's like, they look at it militaristically. We could treat you badly because, we know you need a job, and this is pretty much, well, no, in the military, you can't leave. You are bound by contract. And if you do leave, you're MIA, and you can be court-martialed, and it's pretty significant consequences. In the car business, I just quit. I'll go work for a place that appreciates human being. But there's not just the car business, businesses in general. I just found out the other day at a podcast about, a friend of mine got let go in the radio business by a general manager who was just cold-hearted, and she was like, would make comments to him throughout his time there when they worked together, like, oh, hey, I didn't realize that you were that important on the radio show that you represented. I Googled you, and apparently a lot of people like you. I had no idea.
Wow.
Like, you're the general manager of this place. This guy's in your, purview and under your leadership and guidance. Why would you say something like that to somebody other than to cut them down?
It's
like, it's not like, hey, we're pals and chums that you've earned your ability to kind of cajole me that way. We're very surface level knowledge of each other. We pass each other in the hallway and nod. You know what I mean? Beyond that, we're not like anything. So why would you even, it's like, I literally went into this mode of saying, if she were sitting directly across, I'm like, what do you expect to get out of that? You're in a business that is careening into a mountainside, and your talent that help you create a product to sell, you're treating them like garbage. And I said, these people, radio talent in general they're dinosaurs. So, and I know that. That's why I got out of the business. But a lot of the industry, it's like, why are you just continuing shooting yourself in the foot? That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
Having a revolving door in a business. So I get what you're saying. Why do they do it that way? I don't know. because that's how they were. I have a theory that that's how they were brought into the business. I know a lot of guys. It's called breaking the cycle. You know Marcus Manise, Stronger Than My Father.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
So he calls it breaking the cycle of fatherlessness. Not this is how they do anything fatherlessness, but when you come into a traditional dealership, you typically start out as a salesperson, or maybe you go into service or whatever. And your aspiration is to go to F&I and maybe do floor manager and eventually end up at the desk where you're desking deals with at the tower. And a lot of these guys come up through this militaristic experience like boot camp, where they get treated like crap. They want to build up your I get what they're trying to do psychologically, but it doesn't need to be done that way, because these people can leave. And so if you try to just nurture them and treat them humanely, you probably have a better ROI over time. But that's the thing. It just takes time. But instead, you're going to have, hey, you got customer A who had a great experience with salesman B. And then all of a sudden, customer A comes back. I got somebody I want to send to salesman. Well, the salesman B is not here anymore.
Right.
Well, who else you got? Well, I got salesman C who's just, got out of work release. And dude, I'm not kidding. That shit happens.
Yeah.
So these guys that ascend to the desk remember how they were treated. And the mindset, I think, is that, well, when I get there, I'll be able to do that.
Right.
Instead of saying, well, wait a minute, I didn't like being treated that way. I'm going to break the cycle and do it differently. It doesn't need to be done that way.
No.
It doesn't.
I would love to see a change in that car dealership world, in that
it's so easy.
It's simple, and for people to come through the door and feel like they're coming to a happy, fun atmosphere where the party is every day, and I'm going to buy a car and this is going to be such a good time.
Yeah.
Imagine if we could create that in the car dealership world, and the same guy you bought a car from is there knocking down hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, which they don't like.
Right.
And having the time of his life or her life and just having fun. The topic for another discussion, culture.
It totally is. Yeah. Culture is huge. I mean, it takes everyday work. It's crazy how, when I sold cars, I got to the point where I guess you could say my modus operandi, or my pillars, where I want to put my head down on a pillow at night and be okay. I don't want to mislead anybody. And I want to, do the right thing, not the easy thing. Those are basically it, and of course, and I think a lot of those things would buy trust in you, and that eventually happened. I also wanted to be really fast. I wanted the transaction to be quick. So nice. I think I got it tweaked to the point where I got really good at making a good, fast transaction where the paperwork was, because a lot of, again, it's also the dealership where you are. At a Highline dealership, people know what they want. Yeah. They don't have the time to waste. So I would always make sure everything's printed out, ready to go. All the expectations were set. The communication was had. All that stuff matters. Anything with the car business, or any business for that matter. But when you're selling cars, it's all communication, man. It's just communication.
Relationship, experience, and speed. I like the speed factor too, because we had people that would come in to buy an ATV and it would be a 4-hour ordeal.
Yeah.
Like I would be so how am I supposed to sit there with you and pretend that this is an enjoyable time?
Well, we would have those days too on a Saturday. I mean, you did people, hey, you came on a Saturday. I'll tell you right now that we got a little bit of a bottleneck going with people trying to get in and out of F&I. Just express and communicate those expectations. Is that okay with you? Is that something that you need to come back on Monday and do? Just put a deposit now. Let's get all the paperwork out of the way, and when you come in here on Monday, I can get you in and out.
Yeah, that's
and then you pick up the car then. And I would just let that be an option and let my managers know, look, the relationship's more important. They have good things to do. They're going to come pick it up on Monday, but the paperwork's done. Deposit's taken. The deal is done.
That's the big thing. Yeah.
And that they're just going to come in and finish it up and do all the things. That's all I'll do. So that's the way I sold cars.
We can solve the world's problems in here.
How do people find and follow you?
Oh, man, the best thing to do is to find and follow me on LinkedIn.
Nice.
I think you can stay on top of everything I'm doing and all the crazy posts I put out there. I try and be positive 99% of the time, and I'm pretty good at it. But I also really value the followers I have on LinkedIn, and I try and give back, and I try and be a coach on LinkedIn to anything, entrepreneurs, business, culture, marketing, sales, operations. I'm always sharing stuff. So LinkedIn is the best place. I don't accept Facebook requests from people that I'm not really going to call on a Friday night to have a few beers and wings.
Right.
You know,
right.
I think we're friends on Facebook.
We are.
Because we're friends.
We are friends. We're on LinkedIn as well, I believe. I need to get better at LinkedIn, but that's a whole nother story. Well, there you go, guys. All the information we'll put down in the show notes, as always, in the description. And, follow us. Not find us. You found us if you're listening to us. Follow, rate, review, share with a friend. Everything can be found at mmtbp.com for the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast. You could even write that if you want. It has a .com address as well, but I've truncated it to mmtbp.com. You can find links to share as well as an application to be on the show. Fill it out. It'll come in. Hopefully I'll see it and get back to you. I can't guarantee that. Rob.
Jim.
Thank you for being on, my friend.
Thanks for letting me hang out. I appreciate it.